Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. As always, if you like my content, please consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking the bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video. Once you're down there, go ahead and click the like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm suggest my channel to new people, so let's get into this. In this video, we are going to be reviewing some of the cards that have been announced for Tarkir Dragonstorm. Now I know, I'm late to this party. I severely underestimated the amount of cards that were going to be released since this is my first set, and it just kind of snowballed on me. So in order to keep up with the cards, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to be reviewing each cards that are released each day, with a bit of the cards from the first and second day sprinkled in. So let's move on to day 1 of spoiler season, shall we? Catch you all on the flip side. The first card we are going to be taking a look at is Severance Priest, a 3-mana Abzan Djinn cleric with Death Touch, and when this creature enters, target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, exile that card. When this creature leaves the battlefield, the exiles card's owner creates an XX white spirit creature token, where X is the mana value of the exiled card. I think this is a pretty good removal, although it does die to a whole bunch of things, whole bunch of removal, and depending on the mana value of the card you exiled with it, it could pose an even bigger problem than the card itself. But other than that, I think it's a pretty cool card. It is going to come in a regular version and a borderless clan version. So this card looks really cool. Let's move on to the next one. The next card we are going to be taking a look at is Dracogenesis, a 8-mana red enchantment that says you may cast dragon spells without paying their mana cost. This is just Rooftop Storm for dragons, but it's arguably objectively better. I am very scared to face this card. In the right deck, this is going to be a game ender. It is going to come in the standard version, a Draconic Showcase, which looks incredible. We are going to have a Ghostfire version, which I don't like as much as the Draconic version, but it's still a cool art. And then we have the Ghostfire Halo version. I like this card better than the Ghostfire. It looks better, it completes more of the art. So, I don't know. It looks really good. Let's move on to the next one. Hopefully that one's not so scary. The next card we have is Forest Kinguard, a 2-mana white dog soldier. When it says, when this creature enters, it endures 1. Which means you either put a +1/+1 counter on it, or create a 1/1 white spirit creature token. In the right deck, I feel like this can be really good. I'm just going to give an example here. It can go really good in a small creature deck like Arabella. Or it could go really good in just a deck that cares about making bodies. Or an aristocrat deck. The possibilities are kind of endless here. I really like this card. I will definitely be looking to get it. Let's move on to the next one. The next card we have is Tempest Hawk, a 3-mana white bird with flying. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may search for your library for a card named Tempest Hawk. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. A deck can have any number of cards named Tempest Hawk. Okay, what is it with us getting so many of the a deck can have any number cards? We got the Templar Knights from Assassin's Creed, then we got Heir Apparent, which was not that long ago, and now we have Tempest Hawk. Wizards is really ramping up the production of a deck can have any number of cards, aren't they? As far as a card goes, it's a pretty cool card. I can think of many ways of doing it, but I don't know. It just seems kind of niche in my opinion. Not many decks will want to run it, but it's a good card. Let's move on to the next one. The next card we have is Winternight Stories, a 3-mana blue sorcery with draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard a creature card, and it has Harmonize 4 and a blue. This is a really good card for draw spells. If you're wanting to get creatures and stuff in the graveyard, I feel like this is a good card for you. There's nothing much more to say about it, it's just a really good draw card. Let's move on to the next one. The next card is Magmatic Hellkite, a 4-mana red dragon with flying, and when this creature enters, destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls. Its controller searches their library for a basic land card, puts it onto the battlefield tapped with a stun counter on it, and then shuffle. This is a land destruction dragon. I feel like this is not going to be looked on very highly for it. People already don't like land destruction. I don't know. I am unsure of how this card's going to do. On one hand, it's a good 4/5 for 4 mana. On the downside, though, you are going to be hated if you play it. But I can see some uses for it. It is going to have a Draconic Showcase, which looks really cool. And it's also going to have a borderless reversible version, which is the cards where it shows the adult version on one side and a baby cutesy version on the other. I can see a bunch of uses for this card, but we'll just have to see how it plays. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? The next card we have is Eshki Dragonclaw, a legendary human warrior with Vigilance, Trample, and Ward 1. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you cast both a creature spell and a non-creature spell this turn, draw a card and put 2 +1/+1 counters on Eshki. She seems to be a really good card. I can definitely see people putting her in decks, and I could also see a bunch of people playing her as a commander, as sort of a creature spellslinger deck. I feel like this is a really good card. It is going to have a regular version and a borderless client version. So, yeah. Let's move on to the next card, shall we? The next card we have is Awaken the Honored Dead, a 3-mana Sultai Enchantment Saga, where the first step on it is destroy target non-land permanent. So you already have a removal spell there. The second chapter is mill 3 cards, so you're filling your graveyard. And the third chapter is you may discard a card. When you do, return target creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. This is going to be a really good card in a sacrifice graveyard reanimate deck. I really, really like this. I might even think about running it in some of my decks. Yeah. This is a really good card. Let's move on to the next one. The next card is Sarkhan's Resolve, a 2-mana green instant that says choose one. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn, or destroy target creature with flying. This is a really good instant because it can protect your stuff by buffing it up until end of turn, maybe dodging some removal. And it is also a really, really good removal for this set, because almost everything has flying. That's just the deal with dragons. So, yeah, this is a really, really good card. Let's move on to the next one. The next card we have is Surak, Elusive Hunter, a 3-mana green legendary human warrior that says this spell can't be countered. It has Trample, And whenever a creature you control or a creature spell you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you draw a card. I think this is going to be a really cool card that people are going to be putting in decks just to combat the amount of spell slingers that are going to be popping up. On the commander side though, I think this is really a niche commander. Yes, I feel like the ability to draw a card whenever your stuff gets targeted is a good thing, but your things aren't always going to get targeted unless they're a big issue. And if they're a big issue, you kind of already lost. So I think this would really do well in the 99, not so much as a commander. It is going to have a regular version and a borderless clan version. I really like this card. Let's move on to the next one. The next card we have is Dragonback Assault, a 6-mana Temur enchantment that says when this enchantment enters, it deals 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. It also has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. This is going to be a really good enchantment, especially for landfall decks. And it also counts as removal. And a board wipe, if you choose it to. Yeah, this is just a really good card. People will be running it. I can already see that now. Let's move on to the next card. The next card we have is Runescale Stormbrood, a 4-mana red dragon that has flying, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell or a dragon spell, this creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. I feel like this is a really cool dragon and a really good card in those Spellslinger and dragon decks that we've been talking about. It also has the Chilling Screech side, which is a 2-mana blue instant omen that says counter target spell with mana value 2 or less. The ability to counter a spell and just to shuffle the card back into your deck is really enticing. But it's the text that says with mana value 2 or less that really worries me. Because I don't think many people are going to be running spells that are mana value 2 or less. I mean, they could. In this case, that would definitely be a good card. But I don't think many people are. The most, I think, are like 3 and above. But this is a really good dragon. Let's move on to the next one. The next card we have is Aurorial Procession, a 2-mana Simic instant. This says return target card from your graveyard to your hand. It's nothing special. It's literally just a 2-mana graveyard recursion. That's really it. But in Simic, I mean, I get the flavor, but I don't know. Let me know what you all think down below. The last and final card for day 2 of the spoiler season will be the Sib-Sig Ceremony, a 3-mana black legendary enchantment that says creature spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. And whenever a creature you control enters, if you cast it, destroy that creature. Then create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. I feel like this is a card you will want to add to any sacrifice burn deck, because in that deck you're already having creatures die, and this just furthers along that. And instead of you physically having to sacrifice it, or you risk it being destroyed upon entry, it just immediately dies. So that's a really good card, I feel like, for those decks. And you also get a body out of it. Other than that, I think this is a pretty niche card. But hey, let's see how many people run it, eh? Okay, everyone, let's do a couple cards of the set that we missed. The first card we are going to be taking a look at is All Out Assault, a 5-mana Mardu enchantment that says creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Death Touch. When this enchantment enters, if it's your main phase, there is an additional combat phase after this phase, followed by an additional main phase. When you next attack this turn, untap each creature you control. I feel like this is going to be a really good finisher. And yeah, it's just a really good card altogether. Let's see. This is going to have the regular version, a borderless clan version, which looks really sweet. It is going to have a Ghostfire version, which looks cool as well, but not as cool as the clan version in my opinion. And we are going to have a Halo Foil Ghostfire variant, which looks better than the Ghostfire, I will admit. But yeah, that's what this card does. Let's move on to the next. The next card we have is Elspeth Stormslayer, a 5-mana white legendary planeswalker. With if one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. Her +1 loyalty ability are create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Her +0 ability is put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain flying until your next turn. Her -3 ability is destroy target creature and opponent controls, mana value 3 or greater. This is a really good planeswalker. I have a feeling it will see play. Heck, I might even grab a couple copies myself for my decks. This is just a really good card. Let's take a look at the showcases, shall we? The first showcase we have is a borderless one, which looks so sweet, so clean, I love it. The next one we have is a Ghostfire variant, which I don't really like it as much as the borderless one, but it's still good nonetheless. At least it doesn't cut off her wings. The last and final one we have is a Halo Foil Ghostfire variant, which I'm gonna be honest, I like this one the least. It's too flashy for me, and you can actually barely see her wings. I do not like that. But yeah, let's move on to the next one, shall we? The last card we are going to be looking at today is Tygum, Master Opportunist, a 2-mana blue legendary human monk with Flurry. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it, then exile the spell you cast with 4 time counters on it. If it doesn't have Suspend, it gains Suspend. This is a really good card for all of your Spellslinger and Storm decks. This is a really good card, because not only do you copy it, but you also get to copy it at a later time as well, so it adds to your storm count. I like this card. This is a really good card. We have a borderless clan version, which looks so clean. I really like it. And yeah, that's all the cards for today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like my content, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell icon so you never miss when I upload new video. And yeah, let me know what you think of these cards down below. Am I missing angles? Am I missing the whole point of some of them? Please let me know. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. See ya!